Okay, resident expert, mom expert, Becky Sternberg here with the money conversation. Um, okay, let's get started. What do you hear?
Okay, every time a client is like ready to jump in, then we bring up pricing and they're like, okay, let me think about it. Let me talk to my husband. Let me, whatever excuse. And then they come back, they're like, okay, I'm going to keep you in mind for one day, but right now I can't afford that.
All right, great. This is going to be so much fun. Number one, what happens in your mind when you bring up the price or you're thinking about bringing up the price?
Okay, so back it up a little. When I first get a meeting with a client, like a potential future client, the first thing that goes through my head is, oh, shoot, they're not going to come in because of the price. And maybe I should lower the price for this specific person. And okay, don't mention anything about the price until the end.
All right, perfect. What's the next time you have some kind of a limiting belief around price? As you're about to say it, or you're like, oh God, here we go, or what happens?
If they say, oh, well, how much do you charge? Then I'm like inner panicking.
Inner
And
panic.
then inner
What's the inner
panic is,
panic? What's the thought that creates the inner panic?
did I hook them enough in the right way that they're just going to sign their whole bank account over to me?
Right. Okay.
And then we get to the end where it is actually time to talk about the price. And even if I'm like so good at, oh, I hear, it is a lot of money. Is it worth it? All those things. There's something that is either blocking me or I don't know, where I'm like, they're never going to want to pay that. I should have just said $800 instead of $1,000 or, gone lower just for them.
Okay. So the fun thing about this is we will do tactical. It's not a tactical problem. It is a
Okay.
value problem that you have that you are then projecting on yourself and your clients. Are we okay with me saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you think to yourself, again, let's say you coach moms. Let's say you have some of the things you coach moms are around fitness, probably around marriage, probably around how happy they are at home, and probably how to parent, right? Am I hitting the basic things that you talk about? No. What do you talk about?
I talk about self trust, inner alignment, self confidence, self love.
Even better. If they would start that conversation by saying, I can't love myself, I can't trust myself, I can't get clarity on what I want, what would you coach them around?
Um,
If they're coming in with that idea,
that they can't love themselves, they
right?
can't hear themselves.
It's not possible.
I would say it is possible. There's just lots of blocks around it.
Perfect. It's the same thing with can't afford it, meaning that in your own, the way you have to move someone out of it is you have to move yourself out of it. So as soon as again, is it possible that you would be a terrible mother? Anything's possible. That said, if you start with the premise that I'm probably going to be a terrible mother, that's going to be much more difficult than walking into it saying, I can figure this out. These children that I have, it's possible I could be a good mother. Again, I'm thinking about fitness. If you're like, I'm always going to be uncomfortable with my body, it's like that's much harder than, hey, I wonder, is there a way that I could be comfortable with my body? And if you go speak to someone that understands health and fitness, it's like, yes, let's talk about movement. Let's talk about stress. Let's talk about sleep. Let's talk about diet and exercise. And then it's like, okay, wow, shockingly, if you start with the premise of this could work and then you implement systems that will work, you will be surprised to see it does work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're thinking in your mind, what do I say? That's already in category number two. Category number is this possible? And the more you feel like it's possible, the easier category two. You don't even have to be very good at category number two if category number one is dialed in. That was brilliant. And you're gonna have to sit and think about that for a million years.
If I go into any new diagnosis call or any conversation at all, opening up what I do and my offer, knowing that this is going to work, this could work very, like it has all the potential to work, then I'm no longer doubting myself and sending that
Yeah,
message over.
you're coming into a conversation as if I was going to do marriage coaching. Well, again, I'm just using this as an example because it's not what we're talking about. If you go into the conversation with the idea that my spouse hates me, my spouse sucks, or maybe I should just lower my expectation, likely, even if I give you the best tactics, it's going to still create the growth of that outset. The first thing I'd
Hmm.
say is it's possible your spouse doesn't suck. It's possible you can actually be happy with your marriage without settling for something you don't want. And it's also possible your spouse doesn't hate you. They love you. So you want to start playing with the things that are movable before you even get to tactics. You've spent
So,
a lot more money than you're asking your clients spend on you. So you know, and you're not stupid and you're not super rich, right? You know that people who are building a family, marginally intelligent, will spend money on making themselves better. You know that because you did that. That's true. Make sense?
yeah,
Ask me more questions.
I guess how do I get to that space of I truly, deeply, genuinely believe that every single person I talk to, they could make it work.
Well, that's the point, is like it's not even that. It's the first thing is it if you think about dropping your price, again, going back to an expectation from marriage or expectation from parenting, maybe I should charge less is the same thing as saying, not maybe I should work on my expectations, but maybe my kids will just suck more than I wanted my kids to suck. Maybe my marriage will just suck and that's that's it. Maybe it'll suck. That's the same thing as saying maybe my price is this and not that. But like you would never effectively build a person if they're coming. You would always start with the mindset piece of like, what if your marriage was actually great? What if it was actually could be even better than you thought? What if parenting
Mhm.
didn't just suck a little bit? What if it was actually a deeply meaningful experience that really facilitated your relationship with the next generation and made you feel like this was the thing that you're most proud of? What if that's a possibility? I don't know how to do that, but what if we start from that premise? Same thing I would go into a sales conversation is, what if this client could invest and change their life? What if the reason why they haven't had what they want is because they haven't worked with me, and that's probably because they haven't paid enough yet? What if? What if they could put on a card? What if they could call their mom? What if they can talk to their husband? What if they can make it work? So instead of saying, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? And I think it's
Yeah, that's what I want.
right. So the first step is, like you say, it starts with an awareness. What am I actually telling myself? Stopping and noticing, writing down what am I telling myself? And then as you're noticing it and writing it down, correcting it to what's the opposite. This person can't afford it. This is worth 10x what I'm charging. Every woman needs this. Every person can be resourceful. There's something called credit cards. Like people will buy what they want. If credit cards didn't work, if Americans didn't spend more than they had money for, all of the biggest companies in the world would be out of business. So, which is proving that people will spend for what they want. Can you afford this? It's like, well, I'll open up a new card, 0% interest, and I'll pay it off in the next year. Okay. And again, that's for a stupid purchase. Like, what about what you're doing, which is actually valuable?
So this has nothing to do or very little to do with me giving over the right amount of value and hooks and emotional intensity and all that stuff. And it's more to do with I'm going in thinking this isn't the person's not even going to be able to afford it or
That's
they're
all.
going
Yeah.
to
What you're
stay.
talking about is all tactics. It's all built on a very shaky foundation. Again, if you think your husband's a jerk and if you think your marriage is going to suck, even if you give a lot of emotional stability support, you show up, you're open, your walls are down, you're experimental and fun and wanting to go on dates, but there's this really strong foundation of this guy sucks and I'm not going to be happy. Guess what? How effective will your efforts be? It might work, but your efforts are going to be you're running uphill with a weight vest on and not in the good way, right? Whereas if you flip it around to, hey, there's parts of this guy that are great. I like him. We could have fun. We've had fun once before. Like, I want to be in a happy marriage. This guy wants to be in a happy marriage. I like him. It just, okay, so now everything that you're doing is going to enhance this outcome and create, it's now strategies to create the outcome that you want, not something that's going to hold you back. But if you have on paper a great marriage, but you think your husband's an idiot or a loser, or you're just going through the motions because like God loves to make you suffer and they help gave you this man who's just a piece of crap. Sorry, like okay, like what are the like all of the best motions in the world? It's still going to take you out of alignment from. It's not gonna line up to what you initially believe. Make sense?
It makes complete sense because in everything else besides for my pricing, I see it. I believe it.
Right. So again, you're again the same thing. It's like in every other area of this woman's life, her career, her parenting, her fitness, her fashion. But if you're helping her with her marriage, it's like the one thing that she needs it in. Like she's thinking, she's got aligned thinking in all the other areas except the place that she needs it. So just apply the same aligned thinking. Again, you don't look at your kids and your relationship with them as a mother or your role as a mother as like, God, I can't do it. They can't do it. We can't do it. This won't work. This is not worth it. Like you wouldn't be successful as a parent if that's how you looked at it. Because it's impossible to
Right.
be successful as a parent if you look at that, no matter how good your tactics are.
Right.
Okay, that's phase one. If you're feeling all of this stuff, just sit and realize I'm in phase one, which is my mindset is out of alignment for effective creation of clients. I am the greatest coach, and my stuff is way underpriced. I'm literally the best. And like again, do I actually think that? Ironically, yes. But I've had to cultivate it. But if you cultivate it long enough, you feel bad when people tell you no. You're like, cool, good luck not making any money. Cool, good luck not being happy as a mother. I'm sorry. Which then will fuel you to be even more convincing because you're like, listen, my friend, if you don't do this, your life is going to suck. You will be broke. I said a great line to a client yesterday. I was like, she said, "Oh, this social media." I don't know if you weren't in the call. There's someone that's talking about a social media influencer and whatever. And I'm like, "Well, connect them." She's like, "Oh, she knows who you are. We've had a conversation." I said, she's the woman that's sitting on the fence instead of sitting on the gold mine because she's still sitting there trying to figure it out." And again, we talked 4 years ago. She's still broke. Oops. I'm glad I was too expensive. You could have made back in 1 month what you would have paid me.
I think that part of it, that's going to take a lot more convincing than like self-convincing than
That's stupid. Because why does that? I'm sorry, I love it. Here's the point. It's not about you. It's not about you. Do you believe that women are entitled and should be happy with themselves? Is that worth a lot of money? Is it worth more than two, three, $5,000 a month? Feeling good about themselves. Look at that. You already convinced yourself. Does that make sense? It's like
yeah,
forget
but now
you.
help
Who
me
cares
convince
about
myself
Becky?
that no, but help me convince myself that I'm the one to get them there.
It's not
Because
about you
I
getting
could
there.
so easily say like,
Take
like
yourself out
refer
of the
a
equation.
million people to
Take
Jacob.
I don't help women feel better about themselves, and I hate
I
myself
know, but
more.
I'm
That's
saying like
like, no.
I could easily refer them to other people.
Right. But again,
That's much easier.
you're in this tunnel. Just don't go in the tunnel. Right? It's very hard once you're looking at yourself and valuing yourself and bringing up all of your old crap to like get out of the tunnel and think that I'm good enough. I can't do it either. But if I'm just like Jacob doesn't exist, Jacob's program doesn't exist, here's a person that wants to make a lot of money and it's worth it. They can get there. It's just what you're looking at. Does that make sense? Are you thinking about what shoes you're wearing right now? Now you
Now I
are.
am.
Right. Why weren't you thinking about it before? Because it just like wasn't in your purview. So just put the is Becky good enough in the category of your shoes before I brought them out.
Okay.
All right. I have 10 more minutes. Do you want to do tactical or do you have to jump off?
I think I'm good with this. Do you want to do tactical?
I want to do tactical, but I'm going to over talk it. So make another time we'll train on tactical. But that's
Okay.
important. Okay, thank you. God
Okay.
bless you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.